On divorce court today. Shantae and Tyrese got married 1 week after they met and separated 1 month later. She says he lied about his 8 children. He says one of his ex-girlfriends caused their breakup. Shantae Golnick and Tyrese Walker have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toler to resolve. Testimony in divorce court starts now.
Mrs. Golnick, I'm gonna ask you a question here. This is your 4th marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have 2 kids from previous relationships.
Yes.
You've been married to this brother for about 30 days. And you ready to get rid of him already. You looking for a divorce. You want to recover some things that you spent during the course of the marriage, all in those 30 days. You want me to give that back, and Mr. Walker, this is your 2nd marriage.
Yeah.
And you have 8 kids
Sure.
from previous relationships, okay?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get the lay of the land first before I started in on what we're doing here. So why don't you tell me, how could things go so badly in 30 days that you want a divorce?
Well, he's a habitual liar and a cheat.
Just say baby mama. That's it.
Mr. Walker, we're gonna have a problem
I'm
already.
sorry.
We a minute into this thing, and that's 1.
Okay.
Ms. Golnick, why don't you tell me something, a lie that you've caught him in, or a woman you caught him cheating with?
He logged onto my computer into his email. He forgot to close his email. I checked his email, and it had one of the websites that we met on there. So I got a little curious, you know. I go in there, I start searching around, checking around. He's talked to several different women. I see that it says single and that he's looking for someone, you know. So I revised his website.
And in what manner did you revise his website?
I took the pictures that he had down and posted up our wedding photos.
That's a good one. I never heard that one before. That's a good one.
I put that we were married. I put on his About Me, I wrote, my wife found out about my page, so now I need someone to stay with. Can I stay with you?
Mr. Walker, did that happen?
Yes, it did happen.
Okay.
But see, what
Go ahead.
It happened, but the only thing it did was drew more attention to me. You see what I'm saying?
So you got more responses.
More responses. More.
No,
Okay.
that's not true.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Walker.
That is
Why
not true.
were you looking? I mean, 30 days into a marriage, you guys should still be chasing each other around the house looking for love.
Because she did something in those 30 days that really turned me around.
Well,
you know?
tell me what that was.
She had a friend come to the house.
Yeah.
Okay? And that friend wasn't really a friend. You know what I mean?
That friend was a friend.
Ms. Golnick?
See, I'm talking. See how you want
Now,
to do this?
Mr. Walker, I can handle this.
Okay. She don't even know it.
I want to know about your friend, Mr. Walker.
All right. So she had a friend. I'm like, damn, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting out work, you know. So, you know, me, I'm jealous. I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous. So, you know, I go in the house because I don't even want to see it. So here she come, here he come. I'm like, what is this? But no, then, so I go back outside. You know what I'm saying? So I goes back outside. Here she come, here he come. I'm like, oh, no, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? Really both something, you know? And it's like, damn, so I'm like, so then I just put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, I basically just came to my conclusion like, hey, what happened?
So now, do you know the guy that he's talking about?
Yes, I know the guy he's talking about.
Was there anything illicit going on between the 2 of you?
Not at the time.
Well, how long did it take for you to become inappropriate with this guy while married to this man?
Actually, a month after I kicked him out the house.
You started seeing that other guy again?
Yes.
You know, it's never good mojo to have an ex hovering about in the context of your marriage.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Technically, he wasn't an ex. He was a friends with benefits, and then we cut off the benefits part, and we just stayed friends. And we hadn't done anything in a long time, and, you know, every once in a while I would, you know, we would help each other out. And at the time, I was helping him out.
I think this friends with benefits nonsense has got to go. You know, sex has become like, well, there's nothing good on Channel 7. Let's do it. But anyway, You decided to get divorced after 30 days. Let me ask you how long you knew one another before you got married. You want to answer, Mr. I'm going to start with Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker, how long did you know each other when
About a couple weeks.
A couple of weeks. Now, Mr. Walker, tell me what happened in those 14 days that made you say, this is the woman for me?
Okay, she treated me good. I mean, she made me happy. I don't lie. She did. You know what I'm saying? I did fall in love with her. I sure did.
Cruella de Vil can be fun for 14 days.
My point exactly. But no, you know, she treated me like, you know, she gave me what I was looking for.
See, this would be good information for women all over the world. To know what you could do to a man in 14 days and make him put a ring on your finger. So tell us all what she did to capture you.
She was there for me. Made me feel like a man sometimes. And not much more than that. I mean, I'm simple. I'm simple but complex. But she all right. She a good woman, but she's just not the woman for me.
Were you cheating on her at any point in time during the marriage?
I wasn't even cheating when she caught those emails. Basically, when I seen dude come around the house, hell, I'm like, hell, that's what you want to do? We gonna do this together then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so let me go find me a friend then. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, Ms. Goldnick.
That wasn't even an issue.
Have you two, hey, have you two ever had a conversation about the nature of your relationship, how things are going, what's going on, or how things are going to work?
Yes.
Or are you just impulsive, like, ooh, he looks good, he feels good, let me bring him home?
No, actually, we did have a conversation, but obviously it was a one-sided conversation because he wasn't listening.
I was listening. It's just that when, you know, with
Okay, I got you. Mr. Walker, I understand she's not the only one that had an ex involved in this situation. No. So I want to go and talk about your ex.
Next, is Tyrese's former girlfriend really to blame for this divorce? Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Couples in crisis, real resolution. Divorce Court continues.
So, Mr. Walker, I understand that an ex of yours, I don't know if it's a wife or a girlfriend or what, called Mrs. Goldnick and shared some information you would have preferred her not to have shared.
Okay, yes, ma'am, that did happen. Okay, what happened? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna start it from the beginning, from the bottom, and coming up from the top.
Okay.
I went to go get my clothes from my house, which I have given to my ex, okay? My ex went into Miss Goldnick's car, got her phone number, and called Miss Goldnick. Oh, I'm gonna tell her, I'm gonna tell her this, tell her that. When I told Miss Goldnick that my ex was, not even,
in the picture.
My point exactly. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I know from a previous situation what my ex what she's capable of. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. And I told Miss Goldnick that firsthand.
So she knew this ex comes out of a bag every once in a while, so you got to be prepared for it.
Not every once in a while, every relationship I get
Every relationship. She comes popping up.
Right, because...
And starting static.
Thank you.
Ms. Goldnick, what happened with respect to the ex, according to you?
He is straight line. Okay, now what he told me is that she was dead. He told me that she did not exist, that she was dead, that his children were orphans. You know, his family member had his children in St. Louis.
How could your children be orphans if their father is alive?
I never told her my children was, see, that's why she lying right there. I never told her my children was an orphan. I told her my children was in a whole other state. Because I didn't want my ex involved in my situation because I knew what was gonna happen. That's why we are right here standing in front of you right now.
So what do you say the ex said to you, Mrs. Goldnick?
Okay, what she said to me was that she was very much alive. She lived there where we stayed at. And that he didn't have 2 children, but he had 8. That he had 2 other baby mamas where we stayed at. That he had children in St. Louis one in California. You know, she was pretty much breaking down everything
in his past that you did not know.
Yeah.
Were the number of children that you had correct?
The number of children I had, yes,
Yeah,
that's correct.
the ex said you had 8.
Okay, I got 8 if she say so.
But you told her 2.
I told her to, yeah, because...
Why would you tell her 2 when you have 8?
Because of the simple fact, we was just talking. At the time, we were just talking. Man, I don't want to break the ice easy.
Get in all of that. You just throw in 2 kids at a time.
Yeah.
First year, 2 kids.
Not the
Next
first
year, another
not the
2.
First year. Like this month, okay, it's just these 2.
And then
next month is gonna be 2 more. Then the other month it's gonna be 2 more.
So I got it.
By then it'll be too late to do anything
about it.
Because we married.
You just eased her right on in there.
Pretty much, you can be like, well, she want a Brady Bunch, now you got it.
I got it.
Your Honor?
Yes.
It was not the fact that he had 8 children or whether or not his ex was dead or not. It was the fact that he lied about it.
He lied about it.
About what? My kids?
No, Mr. Walker, you lied about the ex being dead. You lied about your number of children.
You can't lie about something I never told you. You know what I'm saying? How's that a lie? I never told you, so how's that a lie?
So it was just an omission.
Yeah, well,
You omitted the information. It wasn't a lie. You just didn't tell her about it.
My point exactly.
You said, I got 2 kids. Just the fact that you didn't mention the other 6 is of no import.
Hey.
I got you.
We got to work together.
Now, Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker. First of all, I think you are a habitual liar. Having said that, I still like you. So I just want to put that out there. But let me ask you this. Did you when you said, will you marry me, when you said I do, when you slid that ring on her finger, did you really have an intention of saying this thing, till the death do us part?
I did. I ain't gonna lie, because death almost did us part, but I'm just saying, I did. I did.
Yeah?
I did, but man, I'm telling you, man, there's some things, man, when that boy started coming around, it just changed my whole perspective on everything, because I'm a jealous man.
Right.
And I get off work at 1:30 in the morning and see somebody else in the house. It's like, hey, what it is.
Ms. Goldlinger, you want to respond to that?
Yes, he was not in the house. He was in the garage, and it wasn't like we was home by ourselves.
Tell her, Judge, that's still in the house.
Now, Ms. Goldlinger, that's just ridiculous.
And
you shouldn't have a man over your...
never alone
It don't even matter. At 1:30 in the morning, you in my house when I'm getting off work, man. Come on now, that's knockout time.
When Divorce Court continues, are drinking and lying the only items on the list driving Shantae away from Tyrese?
After 3 prior marriages, should Shantae have spent more than 2 weeks with Tyrese before they got married? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call now.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court continues.
Now, the 2 of you met online on a dating site, correct?
That's correct.
And my understanding is once you saw that guy in there at 1:30 in the morning, you went back on that dating site.
Yes, but it wasn't for no relationship type deal with nobody else.
What did you want?
I just wanted somebody to talk to, though. You know what I'm saying? She had somebody to talk to. Why can't I? I can't talk to her. I can't talk to nobody. I just want somebody to talk to.
Well, now, do you have any male friends? I mean,
I don't associate with the guys where we live. I don't associate with them because they ain't on my level. You see what I'm saying? They on a childish level. I'm not.
They're honest.
They're not honest. If they were honest, you would be with one of them. But I'm saying, it's like, y'all don't some kiddie stuff. Let's go get drunk. I don't do it like that, bro.
I know what you're saying.
You know
you're
what I'm
in
saying?
one of those disassembled neighborhoods where everybody's kind of hanging and drinking, not working.
My point
and
exactly.
you're not about that anymore.
No,
now, Ms. Goldnick, as annoying as he can be, he has a bit of a point there that he is on his grown man stuff and have a job. Or have I been
I don't have a job?
That's the only thing he has that was true of what he said.
Well, why don't you tell me some other lies that he told you?
Okay, it's like, go ahead and call me when you get off work so I can go ahead and start cooking you dinner because it's so late when he gets home and he don't eat nothing I cook at all. Oh, I don't eat that. I don't eat that. Unless he's real hungry, then he'll eat it. But he'll call me and he'll be like, oh, I'm just getting off now. And he'll show up at the house in 5 minutes expecting dinner to be done and be mad when it's not. You know, or he'll come home and say, I just got off of work, but he's pissant drunk.
Did any of that go on, Mr.
Nope.
Walker? Were you demanding with your nutrition?
No.
Were you unsatisfied with the cooking? Were you coming home a little tipsy?
Some days, yeah, I would come home drunk because of the simple fact, you know, hell, it must have been Friday, payday or something.
Something, you came home drunk.
So I came home drunk, okay?
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next.
Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
Mrs. Golnick, from your petition, I garnered that what you really think is he never really intended to stay married. And you feel like he got into it, he was just goofing around. So you're asking me for half the cost of the wedding to be returned to you because you don't really feel like he meant it. Did I get that right or am I wrong?
Oh, well, no, actually, this is actually an agreement that we had before we got married, but
Explain
I had the money
that to
right
me.
then.
What was the nature of the agreement?
The agreement was that he was going to pay half the hotel costs for the full price of the rings. He was supposed to reimburse me for buying his child clothes, school clothes, and he was supposed to also reimburse me gas money that I lent him in order to get to work. You know, at the time, we wasn't even together.
Now, when did all of this occur?
That actually was like during the time we was going to Vegas to get married. He was supposed to actually
Mr. Walker,
pay
did
half.
you have a discussion regarding the cost of the wedding in which you promised to pay a certain percentage?
Well, Judge, I ain't got no memory loss, but I don't recall that.
You don't recall that?
I don't recall us having no conversation about nothing.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you recall paying for any of the wedding costs?
Yes, I did.
What did you pay for?
How much I gave you like that? I gave you like what? About $400 and something to build the gas tank up, and we did some things in Vegas or whatever. And then
So
we supposed to pay monthly on those rings. You know what I'm saying? And, oh, well, that's $60. I'm like, okay.
So do you have anything in writing, Ms. Golnick? Do you have any specific terms that you two agreed upon?
I do not have anything in writing. What it was a verbal agreement. And had I known he wasn't going to pay for half the stuff and not keep his word, I wouldn't have done it at all because the money that I had spent on this wedding was actually supposed to have been my summer vacation money with my kids. And I thought I was going to get reimbursed.
Ms. Golnick, Ms. Walker, I don't know what you two people are doing. I think you don't understand what a marriage is. It's like if I didn't know he was going to pay half of the wedding cost, I would have gone on vacation. Getting married and going steady are two separate things. Going steady is I like the guy, I'm gonna hang with him a while, see if I continue to like him. Marriage is I'm looking long-term forever with this guy. She's gonna be my forever lady. And you guys never took it seriously. No. You never took it seriously. 14 days, anybody look good. You don't make a lifelong decision based on 14 days of a good time. And as you two travel through the remainder of your rather bumpy lives, might I suggest, especially to you, quit procreating along the way. Don't just drop kids hither and yon. You have to have a family and be stable. Having said that, I will say this, that you have the burden of proof as the plaintiff. You have to show me something. You have to give me something. You're talking about a verbal agreement, about a marriage. He said he paid these costs and that cost. There's nothing concrete enough to establish a contract. Contracts can be verbal, but they still have to have specific terms. And yours were if, then, maybe, when, could, not enough to sustain a claim. So there will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
Shantae and Tyrese agree with the judge that they should have known better than to rush into this marriage. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court. On divorce court today. Is Big Daddy the big man at home? Nicole is worried that her husband Derek, a mechanic, is playing with more than car parts when female customers call in the middle of the night. Nicole Evans and Derek Evans have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toller to resolve. Testimony in divorce court starts now.
Mrs. Evans, you tell me that you don't trust your husband. Why is that?
Well, let me tell you about Mr. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy?
Big Daddy.
That's what you call him, Big Daddy. I can see that.
Yes, Big Daddy. Yeah, just one day, we was just finishing, a session, and his phone rings. And I'm listening, and I just hear all this hee-hee, ha-ha. Somebody saying Big Daddy, and he's just laughing it off. And I'm thinking to myself, Big Daddy, who is this? What's going on? What's so funny? I'm not on the other end. What's going on?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's a session?
A session's like sex.
Okay, that's what I thought, and I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So,
and he was like, "Oh, that's a customer." And I'm a customer. I'm like, "A customer calls you Big Daddy?" And I'm thinking to myself, "This is unacceptable." Well, what are we selling? He's a mechanic. But I'm thinking, wait, what are we selling? So when I brought it to his attention, he says, "Oh, well, I'm a dad, I'm big." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's true, but should Big Daddy be something someone's saying to you? So it was just a bit strange. But
well, who was calling you Big Daddy?
Yeah, Big Daddy.
Okay, let me clear this up. Okay, I'm a big guy, but this is one of my customers, and on my voicemail, that's what it says when it comes up for the prompt. It says Big Daddy.
Oh, so you call yourself Big Daddy.
My customer was laughing about my voicemail.
I was like, okay, Big Daddy.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and she just went completely left field with it. Oh, you doing this and you doing that. Why you doing that to me? Why isn't she calling you? Why y'all laughing on the phone?
Now, Ms. Evans, so far you're looking a little silly. So let's try again on the trust issues. He calls himself Big Daddy on the phone, and somebody else will say Big Daddy. It makes all the sense in the world.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well.
Give me something else.
Okay. Like I'll say, well, you coming home, or what you doing? He'll be like, oh, I'm around the corner. Around the corner, I'll be there shortly. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what corner you around? Because it don't never come. It'll be like next day. You don't hear anything. I'm like, what happened? Oh, so-and-so, I had to do this, I had to do that. I'm like, hello, let's talk. You can call me. No call, no show. He just, goes off to the left. I'm thinking, that's unacceptable. Let me know what's happening.
Mr. Evans, where are you when you say you're around the corner?
Around the corner is either at work, at the shop where I'm at, or at my mother's house where I've been because I haven't been able to be at the house with my wife since we was married.
How come?
Oh, well.
How long you been married?
For 8 years.
And you've never lived with your wife?
Altogether, total of probably a year we lived together on and off.
Now, how does that happen?
Well, let's say we had a very nice wedding and a very nice honeymoon. Ended up with a daughter behind that. And then when we get back out the honeymoon, I have to go to my mother's house, and she goes and says that her mom and her have to talk about me living with them.
Oh, so you didn't have a home of your own? You were both going to go back to her mother's house, but her mother didn't want you in her house?
I don't know what the living arrangement was with her at that time, but I was living by myself.
I'm so confused. Why couldn't she move into your house with you if you were living by yourself?
Because before the honeymoon, I got rid of my place contingent on that me and her was going to be living together at her place.
Her place where her mother is?
Right.
Did you talk to her mother before you?
No.
Why would you do that? Who wants to move in with their mother-in-law? What kind of sense does that make?
I thought everything was fine, really, to tell you the truth, because that's what she told me, that, once we get back, you'll be with me.
But did your mother not allow your husband to come into the house with you?
Okay, Judge Lynn, this is what happened. Now, that's not the whole story Big Daddy's revealing. What happened is prior to, my family wasn't too happy on us getting together, so it was kind of a surprise. So I hadn't told my mom yet that he was coming home with me. So I was going to try to, lay it, try to ease it in on her. So, you know,
How you gonna ease a man that big in anyway?
It ain't easy.
Big Daddy.
You can't ease him in.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But
So you just gonna like, oh, I know you don't like him, but I married him. He's gonna come live with us.
yeah, that's it. You're right. See, you get it. Well, I don't know why she didn't get it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. That's it. Perfect.
How old were you when you got married?
Well, let's see. 32.
You were 32 years old. And how old were you?
I was 35.
And the decision was to live with your mother.
Well,
At that
I
age.
had my own home, so he was going to come with us because he's right. He did sell his home, so he was right. I had a home in my.
You had a home that your mother was living in.
Right.
So since it's your house, your mother can't tell you who you can and cannot have in it.
Right, but you know, she wasn't too happy because she was there also. But I mean, just to be fair, but just like I said, I thought telling her just like I told you that she would accept it. You know, I was grown, working, and newly married, and it didn't work that way.
That's not fair.
So what happened? So you tried to move in and she started fussing and hollering. What happened?
No, when we got back from the honeymoon, we was at my mother's house, and I started to get my things, and I was gonna go to her car, and she was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I gotta talk to my mom first. So I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I just said I do, and now I can't. I gotta go back in the house with my mom. I couldn't believe it. It's a big shocker to me, and I was like, okay, I'm 35 years old, I just had my own place, I sold it, and now I gotta go back home to mom and be subject to teenage rules again.
Yeah, and your wife is with her mother.
Yeah.
Living somewhere else. Wow. Now, Ms.
Judge,
Evans, that's
I
two
don't
silly
understand.
things in a row from you. You're not looking very good here.
Wait a minute. Well, that situation was a bit, you know, funky and stuff. So, but I did try to smooth it over. And then eventually it started
Well,
to,
how come throughout these 8 years you never managed to reside in one place, or only been able to do it for a year?
Well, Big Daddy failed to mention is that a big problem, like when my spidey senses go off and tell me like he's doing things he has no business doing, which is like other women, he leaves. And he wouldn't come home.
He leaves where?
Home when he is home. My home, our home.
Is your
together.
mom in the house?
Well, yeah, mom's there too, yeah.
So she got used to it?
Yeah, she accepted it, right. We got past that. Yeah, we got past that.
I don't know how you people manage. I really don't.
Next, Big Daddy tries to do the laundry, but do rules get in the way? Plus, a roast chicken goes horribly wrong. Your mama warned you not to marry your mate. If she was right and divorce is your best option, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Divorce Court. Real relationships, raw emotion. Testimony continues now.
Now, Mrs. Evans, I like you.
Good. That's a good thing.
But you're a little woo-hoo. So I'm going to go over here and talk to Mr. Evans and see if I can get the straight scoop.
Yeah, let's hear from Big Daddy.
Explain the living situation for the last 8 years. You went on a honeymoon, you came back, you sold your spot, you were supposed to move in with her and her mother. Mama didn't want you. What happened?
Well, after we did finally come together, I found out she had some strange habits that she doesn't like to cook or clean.
You finally moved in the house with her and her mother.
Right.
How long did that take?
Oh, that was, like I say, it was on and off so long till I lost count, but it was probably like 8 months, something like that.
Hey, so go ahead.
Okay, this one I'm gonna tell you. She doesn't like to clean up. She doesn't like to cook. And when she goes to wash clothes, it's so strange because she'll like to separate the heavy clothes and separate the like t-shirts and all that and dry them all together. From where I'm at, I just throw all the clothes in there. They're all gonna get dry anyway, so what's the problem?
That's why he don't wash. Yeah.
Well, that's what I do, and it is a problem. So now my husband does the laundry. I mean, there are rules to it. I don't know what they are, because, you know, there are rules to it. I do know that. You say she can't cook.
No.
Explain that. How bad is it?
It was some chicken one night, I swear. It was the color of your robe. I don't know what she cooked it in, And she stayed in the kitchen forever cooking it. And when it came to me, I was like, Big Daddy supposed to eat this? I can't eat this. It's not gonna work. No, it's not. No, I can't do that.
You can't cook, Mrs. Evans?
That is so not true. I do cook. Now, the cleaning he may have me on, and I have to admit, I don't like to clean. And that's one thing that I will delegate. I don't like it.
Well, you're not working outside the home currently,
Not
correct?
now.
Not
Right.
now.
Right.
Uh-huh. So don't you have a little time to do a little mopping and dusting and sweeping?
I suppose, yeah.
You have the time. Well, what are you doing instead? What's going on at your house all day that you can't get that done?
Well, I'm looking for a job. Looking for a job is a job. I'm an
Absolutely.
administrative professional, so I'm looking for a job constantly.
Is she really looking for a job, or
Well,
she
she
just
looking
at
for me a
home?
job.
Huh?
She looking for me a job.
She's looking for a job for you? I thought
Yeah.
you had a job.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's true. I am looking.
She wants me to do something else.
Other than what you're doing.
Yeah, I like what I do. It's a little slow, you know. Mechanic work sometimes is hit and miss.
Right.
But for the most part, it gets, you know, it
gets
the
everything
bills.
done.
Yeah, everything is fine with that. But
Is not
my
happy
other
with it.
half, she doesn't see it that way. And I don't understand why.
Mrs. Evans, you claim that Mr. Evans can't communicate effectively. Now, I just gonna have to put this out there. I don't think either one of you can communicate effectively. Why don't you explain to me the communication difficulties you contend Mr. Evans has?
Well, first of all, we'll have a coming to Jesus meeting, which means we'll have the meeting of the minds. You know, we talk about, okay.
Now, at my house, a come to Jesus meeting is somebody's getting hollered at. Are we
Well, not
hollering?
that one, not that one.
Not that different. Okay.
Yeah, this is one when you come with your mind and your soul on what you're going to do. Look, we're going to, you know, kind of like the quarterback, set the play. I'm going to do this. Okay, babe, I'm going to work this. I'm going to work this job. I'm going to do this.
Sounds
and I
better
agree.
than my come to Jesus meetings.
And I
Okay.
agree to it, and we agree, and then before you know it, he's done flip-flop, wishy-washy, and changed it up. I'll say, well, what happened? You know, you was gonna do this break job, or you was gonna do this. Oh, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, that's another day. What do you mean that's another day? What happened to what we talked about? You know, you supposed to, you know, if you're the quarterback, I'm trying to follow your play, and you switching up. I don't know what side I'm on.
Mr. Evans, do you know what she's talking about?
I have no idea.
No idea. How
Because
convenient.
me, I'm not a big talker, but when I do talk, I'm pretty much get everything out. And I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna say that I've done everything correctly. I've stepped outside the bounds.
Oh,
Which bounds are those?
yeah, which of those, Big Daddy?
I cheated once. I did.
Well, we're gonna have to hear more about that, Mr. Evans.
When divorce court continues, did living apart drive Derek into the arms of another woman?
Should Nicole accept Derek's Big Daddy reputation? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call now, 1-800-282-1991.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Real relationships, raw emotion. Divorce court continues.
Now, Mr. Evans, you just confessed to cheating. Can you tell me when, why, and how long ago?
Well, it happened right after we got married and we got back and I found out that I had to go home. So sometimes Big Daddy wanted a little something and he couldn't go home and get it because home was with Mother, so that wasn't gonna happen, so I went out.
And does she know, she knew about this before today, correct?
Yeah. She knew
Oh,
about
yeah,
this
she knows
before
all
today.
about it. Here's the picture that I'm getting, Mr. and Mrs. Evans. Let me see. That you two really don't stay in the same room very long. You know, you get together in a house, you're there for a while, something happens, and you take off. Is that right?
Right. You got it. You got it. That's it. That's it.
Explain to me what Mr. Evans does when he is confronted with conflict.
He'll leave. You know, I may bring something to his attention, like, this is a good story. It was football time. So I said to him, you know, let's have like a little get together. He's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was like, all right. His friend brings the same proposal to him. And he comes home one day when I picked him up. Hey, babe, you know what? So-and-so and them want to come over and watch the game. I says, really? I said, that sounds so familiar. I says, no, why is it so doable now? I said, because I mentioned that to you. You was like, no, gotta spend too much money, have to get some wings and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, now why was the same idea, why wasn't it brilliant when I suggested it? You know, it's only good when someone else brings it up. But we had a falling out and I took him to work that day and he didn't come back.
Mr. Evans, do you tend to break camp when things are unpleasant at home?
Well, that's what I've been used to. Because, like I say, from the beginning, I wasn't there. And
yeah, but that was 8 years ago. Can't you get over that?
Great.
I'm trying to get over it.
8
I'm
years.
trying so hard to get over it.
8 years.
Great observation.
8 years.
Great, Judge, great.
What can I say?
Tell us, Big Daddy, waiting.
I think I've just caught up on the part about that if I wasn't there from the beginning, why should I be sticking in and trying? And it seems like it's a one-sided stick in and try.
Why do you say it's one-sided? You don't think she's trying?
Not at all.
Why don't you think she's trying?
Because, okay, let me give you an example. One time we went out of town with the family,
right,
all the kids and everything, we together, and it's just me and the family and the kids together. She's in the room, in the cabin, for like 3 or 4 days, and we're gone for a week. So who's trying to get together and who's trying to stay by themselves?
Were you in the cabin while everybody else was outside having fun?
I don't remember it that way, but, you know, I was engaged. He just wasn't engaged with me. He was talking with all other family members and everything, because I remember having a good time, actually. I enjoyed myself. Now that I think about what he's talking about.
Well, you say it's like pulling teeth to get her to hang out with you.
Yes, yes it is.
What are you trying to get her to do?
Anything. Go to the movies.
Bowling, movies, bar, what are you looking to do?
She played cards with me one time over my cousin's house, and that was a big mess. And
why was it a big mess?
Because I have a cousin, and she likes to ask questions, and when she asks questions, she doesn't stop. She just goes on and on and on. What about this? What about that? Are y'all gonna do this? Are y'all gonna do that? We're trying to play cards. You wanna talk about life. Let's play cards and talk about life after cards.
Okay.
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next. Your mama warned you not to marry your mate. If she was right and divorce is your best option, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com.
It's time for you to call 1-800-282-1991 to answer today's question. You'll receive some valuable offers. Call now.
Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
Since I can't seem to get your history together, I'm going to go with what's happening right now.
Okay.
Are you guys living in the same house?
No.
Well, where are you living?
I have my own place, my own apartment.
And you?
I'm still with Mom.
How come you're not together? You just can't make it. It's over.
Almost.
Was it ever together?
On the honeymoon.
And that was about it. Other than your sessions, nothing worked out.
No.
Okay, you know, Mr. and Ms. Evans, I'm not quite sure what you want from me. I'm not quite sure what you're doing. I'm quite sure you don't know what you're doing. But that's a whole nother story altogether. I think that it's good that you get a divorce because you're never really together anyway. You start a new life, start fresh. You guys keep running around the same maypole, chasing each other in and out of other people's homes. It's never going to work out. So you might as well, you're both lovely people. Just lovely people. I like you, Big Daddy, and I like you too, Big Bad and Orange over there. But I don't think you do too well together, so the divorce thing is a good thing, and now I gotta go. This matter is adjourned.
Nicole and Derek agree with the judge that living apart, each with their own mother, was not the best way to begin their marriage, and their relationship since their honeymoon has dissolved. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court. On Divorce Court today. Their brief affair resulted in a daughter he knew nothing about until 2 years after he moved away. Separated by time and geography, a chance meeting brought Sharika and Brees back together. But now love and money are tearing them apart. Sharika Honey and Brees Younger have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toller to resolve. Testimony in Divorce Court starts now.
Ms. Honey, you say that you and Mr. Younger had a very unique beginning to your relationship. Why don't you tell me about that?
Well, Your Honor, I met Mr. Younger 10 and a half years ago. His aunt lived on the same street as I did in Jersey. I was going to the store, and I knew his cousin and not him. So I was talking to his cousin, and that's when he interrupted, and we introduced each other. And he said he was originally from Virginia, and that he was down here for a little while on vacation. So we started talking to each other. One thing led to another. We kind of had a one-night stand. Next thing you know, when I spoke to Mr. Younger said he was on his way back to Virginia, and I hadn't seen him after that. So maybe 2.5 years later, I had my daughter, and I moved to Virginia for my mother. And when I moved to...
Your daughter with him?
Yes.
So you got pregnant after the one night. You got to say that part.
Yeah.
Or else the story is really confusing.
Well,
so you had a one-night stand.
Yes, I had a one-night stand.
You got pregnant.
I found out I was pregnant maybe... I was 4 months pregnant with her because I wasn't showing any signs of being pregnant. So how I found...
He didn't know?
No.
And you didn't know where to contact?
No. After that, we had no communication after he had left. So at the time, I tried to talk to his cousin to see if there was a way that I could contact him, but there was no way. So maybe 2.5 years later, my mother, I got sick, and I was helping my mother. And after that, I got my own apartment. I wound up making a life in Virginia. So I had moved into an apartment complex, and one day me and my neighbors were at my neighbor's house, and we were all sitting there laughing, talking, giggling, joking, and their joke turned into a fight. So them two got the argument back and forth and all of this crazy stuff. So maybe 15, 20 minutes later, there was a knock at the door, and it turned out to be the defendant, Mr. Younger. And it was like, that's how my face was when he came through the door. Wow. So that's when at first I sat there, I didn't say anything to see if he would remember who I was.
Did he recognize you?
He kept saying to his cousin, she looks familiar, I know her from somewhere. And I was like, yeah, you do too. And that's when I said, well, by the way, what is your name? And that's when he said his name. And I was like, you don't remember Sheridan? You don't remember Sheridan Street? And he was like, yeah, my aunt lives on Sheridan Street in New Jersey. And I was like, yeah. Do you remember the girl that lived down the street from your aunt? And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, that was me. Because at the time, I had gained a lot of weight from my daughter, my pregnancy with my daughter. So it was so then me and him.
Let me ask you this. I have to get to it. How did you break the news to him about the baby?
The way I did it was there's somebody that would like to speak to you.
Oh, that was just cold.
So I was like, well, there's somebody that would like to speak to you. And he's looking at me kind of funny, so we go outside in the little hallway of the apartment complex, and I call my daughter. And my daughter walks up, and that's when I was like, as she's walking up, that's when he was like, that little girl right there looks like my niece. And that's when I was like, well, she should, because that's your daughter. And he kind of thought I was kind of joking. And he was like, nah, I can't be. Nah, I can't be. So it was like when she came closer and he picked her up, he did everything but literally turned her upside down to see if she had a sticker that had his name on the bottom. So
what were you looking for, Mr. Younger?
I mean, I was looking for special features, birthmarks, which she had, you know.
She has.
We have the same birthmark. You know, I have like a hole. You know, some people are born with, you know, like a type of hole right here on the top of their ear. You know, people ask, is it a piercing? No, it's a birthmark. She had the exact same birthmark. You know, she looked like me. She looked like my niece.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just looking to make sure. You know, I'm like, hold on. You know.
So did you believe it right away? I mean, after you got, I mean, it's a shock. I mean, no doubt about it. When you looked at, did after a while you say, yeah, that's her? Or did you really not believe it?
I mean, you know, at first, you know, you can't really just go off believing things like that, you know?
Sure.
So, you know, we actually went through the, you know, the progress and everything of having, you know, fraternity tests and everything like that, and she was mine, Your Honor. So, you know, I said, hey, you know, I got a daughter, it's time to step up, you know, and take responsibility, you know, so that's what I did.
So in between the time that you had the DNA and how long was it between the time you had the DNA and you moved in together?
I say we took the DNA like after we moved in together, because like right after that, you know, we started kicking it, you know.
So how long were you kicking it before you decided to move in with her?
About a month.
A month?
Yeah, about a month.
Y'all don't believe in waiting on nothing, do you? Everything is, I want it now, I want it now, a month.
Actually, the only reason why I allowed it was for him to have a close relationship with his daughter. In the beginning, it wasn't about me and him. It was about having a relationship with his child, because I have other children, and they don't have that father-daughter bonds as Mr. Younger and my youngest daughter had.
Why were you willing to move in with her?
Well, at the time, you know, I was just, you know, graduating high school. I really didn't, I didn't have another place where I stayed except for at my parents' house, you know, and I was like, hey, you know, if you want me to move in, you know, to be around my daughter, I'm okay with that. You know, it's fine with me. I'll move in. If it works out, you know, we'll stay together and, you know, cohabitate.
Have you ever lived on your own?
Yeah. Yeah.
Own apartment that some woman wasn't paying for?
Yeah, we went through, you know, a time where we had actually broke up. And, you know, I got my own place, and, you know, it was a good amount of time that I actually stayed, you know, by myself. You know, I paid my own rent. Nobody was paying that, you know.
He may have been paying his rent, but he was still coming to me for help for everything else. Cooking.
Were you?
Can
you say everything else. She did things that she wanted to do.
Food?
You know, she wanted to cook for me. She wanted me to come over. She wanted me to stay in contact. So that's what I did.
When someone says they did what they wanted to because that's what they wanted to do, you know that they're doing it because they want you.
Yeah.
And you take advantage of that.
No, I actually didn't take advantage of it, you know, but I accepted it, you know.
You're taking advantage of it. You know how they feel. You know that they want you.
Yeah, I knew how she felt.
And you don't accept gifts from people who want more from you than you're willing to give. You don't do it. It lacks dignity. It lacks class. It lacks basic humanity.
Next, how many times has Sharika taken Brees back after he has left for another woman? Your mama warned you not to marry your mate. If she was right and divorce is your best option, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Divorce Court. Real relationships, raw emotion. Testimony continues now.
How long did you two live together?
We lived together, a year before we broke up the first time. Well, he broke up with me the first time.
Well, my understanding is you guys break up on the regular.
Oh, yeah. We break up during his special days.
What are his special days?
Springtime, summertime. And then we get back together maybe right after Christmas, just in time enough for his birthday, which is in January. And then that's when, let's be frank, it starts off as, I'll call and my daughter will say, Mom, she hadn't seen him for a while. My daughter will say, Mom, can you call my dad for me? So I'll call him and be like, well, your daughter wants to see you. And he'll be like, okay, I'll come see her. Then once we get together, he'll spend time with his daughter and everything. And then the next thing you know, that's when he'll say, okay, well, let's start off as friends and see where the friendship goes and see if we can go back to building a relationship. Me, like I said, I was a fool because I cared about him.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Younger, what is your version of how the rotating relationship goes?
You know, my version of it is, you know, pretty much it was a lot of things that I couldn't actually take. You know, she felt like she wanted to control me. She didn't want to, you know, let me be an adult, I guess, because she think that she had like a few years. Well, she does.
Well,
have a few years.
yeah, she is 12 years older than him.
Apart.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So I mean.
So what kind of things did you feel she was trying to control?
Well, I mean, you know, she didn't really take, you know, me seriously. You know, certain things that I would bring to the table, you know, ideas, you know, great ideas. That
Like what? Give me one.
Hey, I said, you know, maybe we should go into business. You know, she is a great cook. Me, I'm a great cook and also a businessman. So, I mean, hey, let's start up our own business. She never took it seriously. She would say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it, I'm fine with it. But then when it came down to it, she never really wanted to do it. You know, she wasn't reliable. It was just, I was looking for someone who was more ambitious.
So you would leave her because she wasn't sufficiently ambitious?
No, that wasn't the reason. You know, it was a lot of other things. She has anger issues also.
Let's talk about the anger issues.
Okay, you know, she has a lot of anger issues. I mean, for instance, you know, I would go out sometimes, and, you know, I'm an adult, you know, I'm allowed to go out, and if I just so happen, we're not married, we're cohabitating, but, I mean, sometimes I would, you know, end up coming in a little late because I did a little drinking. You know, one time I went to a buddy's house, he had just came back from the military. It's probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And, you know, I come back home, and when I get back in the house, I turn on the lights. I'm like, whoa. She's sitting there like Medea in her rocking chair, waiting.
Just waiting on
Just waiting.
She didn't have any grits on her, did she?
Just waiting. No, she didn't have no grits.
Okay.
I'm glad, you know.
I would like to, that day I would like to
I'm glad she didn't have no grits, Your Honor, you know. But, you know, she's sitting there, and it's almost like, you know, she was waiting to start an argument over something that simple instead of coming to me and asking me,
hey, how'd come you stayed out so late?
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing simple
She
about
never asked.
When divorce court continues, was Bree so desperate for money that he dated other women because they bought him things?
Even though Sharika agrees that Reese tries to be a good father, do you think he can be a good role model for their daughter? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court continues.
Here's the part I want to get to. Both of you say that the other one has cheated on them.
Yeah.
Correct? Now, why don't you tell me about the occasions, or occasion, I don't know, that she cheated?
Well, there was a time, you know, where we actually were staying over at one of my cousin's house. In the evening time, me and her were sitting in the room, you know, talking, watching a movie. A guy that I know, he walks into the room. Like, he actually had been there, because, see, I had left. So he walks into the room, and he's like, oh, snap. So he pulls me to the side, and he like, yeah, you know, me and Sharika, you know, we had sex the other day. Yeah.
He didn't pull him to a side.
So I'm like, oh, really?
Hang on, did you get busted like that?
No. Me and him had an argument. He left for 3.5 days. He came back on the 4th day. To me, it was a setup. We were at the store. Him and the guy were talking to each other. And then the next thing you know, we come out the store together, and the boy walks up to him and says, is that your girlfriend? He goes, yeah. So I said, who is he? He tried to play, oh, I don't know who he is. So I never paid it no mind. So later on that day, we were at his cousin's house. We had watched the movie, yes, we did. We fell asleep. The next thing you know, it was like awful funny. He went out the room, because I can feel him when he climbed over me. He went out the room, quote unquote.
Hold up. Climbed over you?
Yeah, because the way we were in the bed, he was up against the wall.
Who was in the bed?
He was. Brees, Mr. Younger was. He was in the bed, up against the wall, so he climbed over me and got out the bed. So I never paid it no mind. I just turned over. The next thing you know, Mr. Younger comes and gets back in the bed, and then 3 seconds later, somebody's knocking on the bedroom door. So I gets up, I opens up the bedroom door, and the next thing you know, it's the same guy that asked him if we were together was like, oh yeah, you know, I messed with her, this, that, and the third. So they both standing. He's standing there laughing. Just like, it's just
but
like
had you
funny
ever
to
messed
me.
with this guy?
No, I didn't. I later found out Mr. Younger planned it so that he can go to Florida to be with the girl that he ended up in Florida with, showing all of his pictures on the social media. Oh, this is my wife. How was that your wife after a week of being in Florida?
You say, well, since we're into it, you say that he's cheated on at least 8 women.
That I know of, yes.
On you with at least 8 women.
I know of.
Do you co-sign on any of that?
Your Honor, I'm not an angel. You know, I'm
so
just a man.
So the answer is yes.
I have, but I have.
You don't think it was 8?
No,
it wasn't
more
than 8.
It wasn't 8.
It's more than 8.
It wasn't 8, Your Honor.
8 is only one that I knew of when we got to, after we broke up. I later found out it was more than 8 women. Mr. Younger was like 13 or 14 different women during the time that we were together.
Let me ask you this one question. We're going to keep it moving. Your contention is that this man not only cheats on you, but he makes an effort to secure money and or property from the women with whom he cheats.
That's correct.
How do you, well, first of all, do you co-sign on that?
No.
You had to think about that.
I don't co-sign on it because it's not exact. I mean, the way she's telling
exactly how does it work?
I mean, these women, you know, it's a couple women that I admit, you know, that I had affairs with, you know, and it's not that I'm making sure, you know, that they have a place or money or nothing like that. They just so happen to have that when I meet them.
And they give it to you. And they give you stuff.
And they give it to me.
It's like, holy cow. And how can you take it?
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next.
It's time for you to call 1-800-282-1991 to answer today's question. You'll receive some valuable offers. Call now.
Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
Mr. Young, women who take money from, you know, like have a young chick and this old dude, she's giving her money, she's a gold digger, it's just kind of tacky and wrong. How is that any different from what you're doing? You got 20 seconds.
All right. I mean, it's nothing different. And I mean, you know, she met me when I was about 19, 20 years old. I did things, you know, which I admitted to, but she feels like she has to hold the past against me, so I felt, hey.
And I understand youthful ignorance and idiocy, because I was I was young once too.
Yeah.
I was 19, 20. You just don't get to skip to 56. You got to go through all of those.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I never did anything like that.
Well,
I never took anything that didn't belong to me. I never misused anybody's emotions or feelings. I never cheated on anybody. I never did that. And I don't think youthful indiscretion makes up for or is a substitute for moral degradation. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Everybody's young. I did stupid things, but there was a rule of law. There was a bar. There were certain things I couldn't do, and I don't think that I was young and I was dumb gets it.
I mean, I wasn't just a gigolo.
And that's what he wanted.
You know?
And
I don't want to talk about it anymore. You people are making me crazy. You want $888 from Mr. Younger. Why don't you tell me why?
For him to take for my daughter to do ballet lessons.
Okay, now, after 7 years, he's left the home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he pay child support?
No, ma'am. He takes care of his daughter. As far as if she needs clothes, he buys them. It's the quality time that they lack when
Do you see
we're
her?
not in a relationship.
See her. I spend time with her when I can, you know, when I'm not working. One time she said my daughter...
You don't sleep with him anymore, do you?
No, ma'am.
One time she told me that my daughter wanted to see me, right? I break my neck to get over, you know, to see her. My daughter just out of the blue just starts crying like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? I thought you wanted to see me. She was like, I want to go swimming, this, that, and the third. I'm like, oh, I thought you wanted to spend time with me. I said, no, you're going to come with me today, because I wanted to ask her if everything was true. And I talked to her and I asked her, was what her mother was saying was true? And she said no.
Oh,
none of these things are true.
She won't agree. She won't
Don't do that.
She won't agree with anything that you say.
Stop it. Don't do that. Don't bring your kids and inquire of your kids what your mother's saying is true and not true. They shouldn't hear about it. They shouldn't know about it. I don't care what she said or did. You don't grill. You come over, you see them, you bring them something, you play around, you dance in the living room, you kiss them, you buy them ice cream, and then you act right. You don't ask them stuff like that.
You're right.
Why do you want... You gonna give her $888 for some ballet lessons?
I don't mind her going to ballet lessons, you know, if that's what she wants to do.
$888 in favor of Mrs. Honey. You need to get a clue.
Reese agrees with the judge that he needs to change his behavior and become a better role model for his child. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court. On Divorce Court today. A chance encounter brought them together, and now, after 9 years, they are ready to call it quits. Rodney saved their baby's life, but then he made a comment at the hospital that Shanisha's still angry about. She says their roller coaster ride together is over. Rodney Johnson and Shanisha Tisdale have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toler to resolve. Testimony in Divorce Court starts now.
Mr. Johnson, you say that from the moment you met Ms. Tisdale, it has been a roller coaster ride, and after 9 years and 2 children, you finally want off. Why don't you tell me how this roller coaster started?
Well, good day, Your Honor. This is lovely meeting you.
Good to meet you too, Mr. Johnson. Won't help you none, but thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
I gotta give it my all, you know, to be super honest with you. But starting from the top, my main goal is to try to decide on if I want to be with this young lady forever. We have 2 kids together. I proposed to her 2 times. I have a ring right here that I do plan on giving her. I've given her 2.
Now, Mr. Johnson, let me ask you something. This is divorce court.
Right.
You come in here and pull out an engagement ring. What would you like me to do?
I mean,
I thought you wanted to get out. You wanted me to give you some of her stuff.
I do, but I just want your opinion because I honor your opinion. And this is the 2nd engagement ring that I gave this woman, and I did take back. It was very immature, but like you said, the roller coaster is going up and down, and I just need your advice if I should.
But put the ring down.
Okay. Put it back in my pocket. Put it back in my pocket.
Put it right on back in the pocket.
Okay.
Tell me about the ride.
Okay, well, it starts off about 9 years ago. She was working at a restaurant. I happened to come in a restaurant. I usually go there all the time. I never seen her before. So when I seen her, we locked eyes, and I asked her a question like, do you do bad things? It sounds crazy, I know.
But it's a line, I get it, I understand. You were trying to,
We're in a courtroom, so you can use your imagination, you know. It's a lot of things that people do that are considered bad. So, I mean, that broke the ice, and we had a conversation, and later on that night, after work, she came home with me, and she basically never left. And,
Hold up. You mean to tell me you meet a man that says to you, do you do bad things, and by the end of the day, you're alone with him at his house?
Yes.
How much sense does that make? I mean, I see that it turned out okay. He wasn't Ted Bundy or anything,
Right.
but because you're still here.
No, not at
But
all.
doesn't that cause you some concern?
Not really, because when I locked eyes with him, it was like love at first sight. You know, I don't know, it was something about him, you know? You could tell when he said it, he doesn't do it often.
Might I say this, Ms. Tisdale?
Yes.
They said Ted Bundy was quite a charming young man. They said that women were falling from him as he was being sentenced to death for multiple murders. Some woman showed up and asked to marry him. Yeah. You know, just because you're smooth and cool and all that, don't mean you're not a serial killer.
I understand.
But Mr. Johnson, when did things start to get funky?
Well, the first, say, year and a half, it was smooth. I mean, because she had so much love, trust, so it was easy for me to be myself, easy for her to be herself. We didn't really have any problems. A little shortly, after about 2 years, that's when the problem started. A lot of family members, a lot of other people's opinions, a lot of the trust started going downhill.
Give me an example of a situation where what someone said or what you saw or, caused you to be upset about and have trust issues with her.
Well, it wasn't really trust issues with her. It was trust issues with me. She had trust. She didn't trust me as much as she did in the beginning. And it may be because of the repetition. Like when she calls, she doesn't call once, twice, three. She calls 60, 70, 80 times.
In a day?
In a day? No, in about 5-minute period. I mean, we have smartphones now. You know how you have to
redial,
so easy, so easy to do it,
redial.
you know, and right back,
Are you blowing up the man's phone?
Yes.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for him to act like he care. Sometimes he just seems like he don't care. I don't know what to do. It seems like.
What does he do that makes you think he doesn't care? Or what does he not do that makes you think he doesn't care?
The way he reacts is not what I want. He's not affectionate enough for me. You know what I mean? I need comfort.
And you think calling him 70 times in
There
an
you go.
hour
There
is
you
going
go.
to make him come home and say, "Ooh, baby, I love you." Is this how the reasoning goes?
No. I mean, I expect him to be more understanding. You know what I mean? Like
That's hard to understand, though, 70 phone calls in an hour. I just want to say that. And I'm going to ask you this, Mr. Johnson, because clearly this is a symptom of, apparently, she's got a bit of a temper.
Yeah.
Oh, you notice already?
Well, the 70 phone calls in an hour, those usually come together, a temper and 70 phone calls. You give me a couple of examples where she's gone off the deep end.
The deep end. I can give you a simple example to where it starts. She complains about nothing. Okay, we could be sitting at the house and she could be like, "It's hot, it's hot, it's hot." And I would look at her and say, "The AC is right there, just turn it on." And then she would get on my head about, "Well, if I wanted to turn the AC on, I would have did it." I'm like, "Well, why are you complaining that you're hot?" It's no ending to it. It's continuous. Just like the repetitive phone calls, it doesn't stop with her. That is the problem. She doesn't know how to pump her brakes at certain times. She let her emotions get the best of her. And it seems like that's what she knows as normal. And all I've been trying to do is try to show her that's not normal. We need to understand what we think is normal so we can be on the same page.
Ms. Tisdale, do you agree with him that you do get upset easily and over small things?
Yes, I do.
And why do you think that is?
Insecure.
You're insecure.
Yeah.
Why are you insecure with your gorgeous self?
I don't know. Low self-esteem.
Because?
Life experiences, how I've been treated.
By whom?
Family members, treated me wrong, lied to me, affected my relationship with him a lot, letting them invade and make decisions for me that wasn't right and I regret later.
Next, what happened at the hospital after Rodney saved their baby's life? They got so out of control, police were called to the scene. Are you considering marriage but aren't sure that your intended is really right for you? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Real people, real conflict, real judgments. Divorce Court continues.
Ms. Tisdale, you say that Mr. Johnson made a comment so ridiculous during one of the most stressful points in your life that you actually left him over it. Why don't you tell me what was going on and what he said?
Well, actually, my daughter, when she was born, she was 12 days old and she stopped breathing. She almost died. He gave her CPR, and when we went to the hospital, we got into an argument because he said something so stupid and dumb.
But what did he say?
He gonna tell me that if my daughter turned out like me, he don't want nothing to do with her. So we got into an argument, we got into a big fight. I got angry with him because my daughter's laying in the bed, almost dying. And you say something like that to me. And in the midst of this, we're supposed to be together and, you know what I mean, loving each other, and it was just crazy. And then they had to escort the police into the security into the hotel, into the hospital. and
Now,
take
who
him.
was escorted out, him or you?
Him.
Between the time he saved your daughter's life by giving him CPR, and he made that off comment, no doubt about it. Not the thing to say when somebody's kid's looking at, you know.
I agree.
What had you done?
I didn't do nothing. I don't even know why he would say something like that in the midst
Were
of.
you arguing at the time?
No. He just said it. Just for no. I don't know if he was thinking about all the past stuff that we've been through, or if he was angry, or if he was, because it's a lot of times where he don't want to be with me, and I have to beg him to be with me, be with me, you know, because I really believe this is the man of my life, you know. Right. And it got out of hand, and for him to say something like that.
Yeah, that was deep and tired and wrong. I mean, I gotta applaud you. You saved your daughter's life. Well, I mean, woo! Makes you Superman, but you lost your cape when you said that. Right. Ms. Tisdale, let me ask you a question. Do you ever forgive anybody for anything?
Yes.
You don't harbor?
Maybe a little.
I think you harbor. I think you never get over anything. I think he forgives and you harbor.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you're mad about A or you're mad about M and then you have to bring up A through N while you're talking about M. He's got to pay for everything he did every day. Am I right with that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Am I right?
Yeah, she just likes to talk too much. Like if she stopped.
Talk too much?
Yeah, if she stopped a little bit and thought about what she was saying, we wouldn't have the issues we have. You know what I mean? Like just for instance.
Is it my fault that you don't understand me?
I mean, but I'm trying.
That's the problem. You don't understand me.
I try to understand.
Let me ask you this.
I try.
How logical are your arguments?
There you go. There you go.
When divorce court continues, can Shanisha find a way to get her irrational anger under control?
Do you think this couple can stop arguing and patch up their relationship? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call now, 1-800-282-1991.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court continues.
I take it from your response, Ms. Tyndale, that you do acknowledge or realize that logic is lacking in your responses. Do you know why you're like that? Because we see that you're the problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. He's not perfect, but he makes regular mistakes. You the problem.
Yes.
So let's talk about the problem that you are so we can, because we don't talk about it, we can't fix it.
Right.
And tell me, why do you think, have you been cheated on? You talked about your family members doing things to you. What's up with that?
I was 16 when I met my dad. Mm-hmm. I was told that he didn't exist all my life until I was 16. And then all of a sudden,
He
my
pops
dad,
up.
Right. And that put a huge hold on me growing up. The trust, the lying, you know, and I guess I carry it on throughout the years, and then being in relationships, cheating, and all this stuff, and I think I brought the issues that I had into our relationship, and it's affecting it.
So you're always playing defense.
Yes.
You're always you got your dukes up, you know, you ducking and dodging, and the minute like something look like you, boom.
Yep. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Brilliant. You are brilliant, Judge. You're hitting the dead on. I promise you, you're hitting the dead on. That's why I wanted to come to this show.
No, you think I'm brilliant because I agree with you.
No,
you
it's not that. It's not that. I mean, I said I'm gonna try my best not to say the crazy word, crazy or crazy. She's not crazy. She's just scared of change. She's just terrified of change. Can I say a little quick thing that happened the other day? We're walking, and a car almost hit me. We're moving on. We're halfway down the block. She's still talking about the car that just hit me. Well, is he crazy? Why did he? Babe, we already moved on.
Yeah.
All my parts are here. You know, I'm here.
It's good, and I got here, and I'm okay
and she's
with it.
still talking about it. You know, like agitating the thing. And she needs to understand avoiding the problem doesn't mean that we're not going to resolve it. But avoiding it until we're settled, we're calm, we're in a cool manner.
So you can have a meaningful, productive conversation as opposed to a screaming match.
Right, and that is normal to her, the screaming match.
Okay.
Top of your lungs screaming, not just screaming, top of the lungs.
Ms. Tinsdale, the remainder of this session, I'm going to be talking about coming back from crazy, okay? And I'm talking to you, and I want to say, first of all, to me, crazy is not an insult. I've been called crazy, don't bother me at all.
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next.
It's time for you to call 1-800-282-1991 to answer today's question. You'll receive some valuable offers. Call now.
Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
People used to be afraid of me. Talking to my sister, you know, a few Christmases ago, and I was asking her, why, you know, you never used to hang out with me. She goes, because you were mean. And in talking about it with my mother, I was mean because I was angry, and I was angry because I was afraid. So what you have to do is deal with the fear. The fear will take care of the anger, and the anger will take care of the crazy. The time to decide not to get angry about something is before you get angry about anything. You got to have a game plan in place for how you're going to conduct yourself, how you're going to deal with upset. And you got to know who you are. You got to dissect where you're weak, what's wrong with you. I got a list of 20 things I know that are wrong with me. I own it. I love it. I relook at it sometimes just to make sure I'm on top of it. Now, you're fearful, you're angry, and you've been hurt. And you're afraid that if you do not knock somebody out, verbally or whatever, that they're gonna take you down. So that's how you respond. So you got to own that every morning. And then you have to say to yourself, self, today, just today, I'm not going to get angry. Just today. Don't worry about tomorrow. And you got to let the first wave pass you by. Say, what I'm going to do today, he says or does something I don't like, I'm going to do like this. It's a ridiculous thing to do, but do it anyway. I surrender. Just surrender, not to him. You surrender to your better self. I surrender. And then you sit down, and you cannot speak until you're not angry anymore. You won't be able to do it the first couple of times, but after a while, after a while, and then at the end of the day, you got to debrief your crazy. You got to sit down and a piece of paper. Nobody believes in paper no more, but I do. Write down, here's this. My big bugaboo is worry. I have a list. What I worried about. And then I put a line. And that said, what really happened. And when you read it at the end of the week, you feel stupid. I worried about this all day long, and that happened. And if you keep writing that down, I yelled at this guy about this, that, and the other thing, and it wasn't even important. You see what I'm saying? You need to work your situation. You need to handle your crazy. You need to handle your fear. And once you handle and you work at it, because you can do it. You see what I'm saying? You know, believe in it. Knock that sucker down. You're strong and you're able, and you say, anger is the problem. My fear is the problem. I'm not going to live my fear. I'm not going to let what somebody did to me 20 years ago tell me that the rest of my life ain't going to be what I want it to be. I'm a bad chick.
I can handle this.
Man, tell her.
You want to believe. You with me?
Yes.
You gonna work your anger?
Yes.
You gonna work your fear?
Yes.
You gonna fight your crazy?
Yes.
Now look here. Now look here. This is divorce court. I don't do engagement in here, except for when I'm doing it. But, you know, when you get out in the hall, go ahead and give her that ring. This matter is adjourned.
Shanisha and Rodney appreciate the judge's ruling. Shanisha is working hard to control her anger, and the couple has set a date for their wedding. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court. On Divorce Court today, sex, lies, and social media. Joshua claims Christian can't tell the truth and won't stop posting provocative selfies online. She says he's the one with secrets to hide, including the fact that he's still married to somebody else. Joshua Johnson and Christian Warren have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toler to resolve. Testimony in Divorce Court starts now.
Mr. Johnson and Ms. Warren, you two have been together for a while. Mr. Johnson, you say Ms. Warren is a compulsive liar.
Correct.
She says that you're the compulsive liar, as evidenced by the fact that you never told her you were married. She is now 14 weeks pregnant with your child, and her ultimatum is if you don't divorce your wife, she wants you to pay her some money to help with that child. Mr. Johnson, why don't you tell me why you believe Ms. Warren is a compulsive liar?
There was one incident. She told me that she was going to the store to pick up some stuff for the morning, you know, so after some hours, I actually called her back. She never picked up or anything like that. She came in at 6 o'clock the next morning with, I don't know where you get a full pack of eggs from. And you know what I'm saying? She come in with some eggs and some breakfast fast food. And I'm like, where you been at? Why you ain't answer the phone? Why you ain't call me? She talking about, she acting like ain't nothing going on. Then she finally tell me that she went out with her friends. So I feel like actuality it's easier for her to actually tell a lie than to be truthful with me. And that's all I'm asking for, is her to be truthful with me.
Were you truthful about the existence of your wife?
I mean, no, I didn't bring it up in the beginning because I knew it was irrelevant.
Don't you think that's more important than eggs?
Yeah.
How long were you together before you told her that you were married to someone else?
I mean, we was definitely deep into the relationship. I'm thinking probably about 6 months.
6 months in a relationship before you mentioned it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Warren, when you found that out, why didn't you roll?
When I found it out, we had, you know, already established chemistry.
You were in love.
I loved him.
You were in love.
I did.
Did you tell him to get a divorce, or you weren't going to be around anymore?
Yes.
Do you ever intend on divorcing your wife?
I fully intend on divorcing my wife.
You haven't done anything about it yet, though.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's hard to contact her, you know. I'm taking all necessary steps to get that contact.
Okay, so it's one of these where you don't know where she is, and
I don't know where she is.
Okay. Why don't you tell me some other instances that have occurred that make you believe Ms. Warren is a compulsive liar?
There was a time that she told me she was going over her mother's house to help her clean. So when she left, I called and I asked the mother, you know, so has she seen her? She said she hasn't seen her all day. I called Christian's phone and she said, I hear music and, you know what I'm saying, conversation in the background. So I'm asking her, like, where's she at? She's like, oh, I'm at my mama's house. I'm cleaning. That's the TV you hear in the background. So after I hung up with her, I called a friend and hear the same audio in the background. So she acting totally shocked and surprised, and I get on the phone and then try to make me believe that I just got over here 5 minutes ago. How is that possible? Does that
Now, I know Ms. Warren did that because I see the look on her face. Were you lying to him about where you were going?
Yes.
Why?
I lied to him because he's stressful. He always wants to complain. He complains about everything. He starts arguments about everything.
Well, how many times a week do you say you get into, like, loud, combustive arguments?
Every day.
Every day.
Really?
Every day.
What do you argue about?
Asking, like, the basics. How you doing today, Christian? She just hush mouth, don't say nothing. Like, she kicking attitude just to make me feel some type of way. It's always the little stuff. She doesn't respond when I ask her stuff. She doesn't, I mean, it's like she doesn't respect me.
Tell me about the social media. Are you on there, and are you not fully clothed?
I am fully clothed.
But what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Uh-huh.
It's just selfies.
Okay. What kind of
Pose for the
selfies?
frame.
Huh?
Pose for the frame.
Pose for frame?
Yeah, pose for the frame.
I don't know what that means.
You know, pose for the frame. Like,
No?
you know.
Oh.
Yeah. Click, click, click.
Is that all it is?
No. No.
Well, tell me the worst pose for frame she posted.
Yeah, probably a regular selfie with a low-cut shirt and everything. I probably know she got a towel wrapped around just the top, you know, so just the top half, and you can see all the cleavage. That's how she gonna leave out the bathroom when she get ready in the morning. She's not gonna respond when I'm knocking on the door. She's gonna be in there beautifying herself, and when she comes out, she walking out with all the cleavage hanging out, telling me she finna go to work.
Is that what you do?
I mean, not intentionally. I mean, they are huge, but, you know.
But do you have a lot of cleavage on the social network? Is there a lot of boobage going on?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What's I'm gonna move on. You say he's a liar and a cheater. Why don't you explain why you feel that way?
Oh, yeah. Well, this past Easter Sunday, you know, I go to church, and we were going to church, and, you know, the day before Easter, bought him a nice all white suit. You know, he was looking like an angel. You know, he was supposed to be my angel. So, anyhow, I dropped him off at a family member's house, one of his family members' house. So I'm calling him, it's time to go to church. He's not answering the phone. So I get in my car, I drive over there, and 5 houses down from the house where I dropped him off, where his family member stays, I see him, and I see another woman. And he gets out the car, and guess what he got on that I bought?
The white suit.
The white suit.
There was your angel with another woman.
Yes.
And you were hot.
Yes, I was hot. I paid over $800 for that suit.
You bought him an $800 suit?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I wanted him to look nice, fresh, you know, feel good. You know, I feel good when he feels good, you know.
And I bet you were really angry when you got over there.
Oh, my goodness.
And I understand her anger is an issue.
Next, how did a stray selfie in Joshua's email cause Christian to egg her own house? Is a third wheel causing problems in your relationship? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Couples in crisis, real resolution. Divorce Court continues.
You say Ms. Warren's temper is out of control. Why don't you give me a couple of circumstances that would demonstrate that to me?
Okay, there was one incident where a woman sent me some pictures of her breast to the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. Chris immediately grabbed the phone when it went off and started calling the girl, cussing out. Now, the girl is telling her that she has sent the wrong picture to, you know what I'm saying, the picture to the wrong number. Kristen, she doesn't care about that. She's already mad. She already went past her point because she's quick to take off like that. She don't think past situations. She just usually just act. So I'm telling her, you know what I'm saying, kind of, she doesn't care about that. We end up getting mad at me and start throwing eggs on the outside of our apartment, which was stupid because we had to clean it up anyway.
So she got up, went into the kitchen, got some eggs, went outside and started throwing eggs at the apartment?
When I was already mad, when I seen her doing it, you know, I didn't even do it. I just looked at it and just walked. I just walked off. I gave up then. I was through with it. I was through with it. When she get mad, ain't no talking to her.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Give me another example.
Proud. I'm talking about not just, I'm talking about really like having fun with it, like throwing in the air and trying to really throw the eggs.
I believe you, Mr. Johnson.
Really
Give me another
fun.
example.
Okay. After we're going through all of this, I figure, okay, let's just go out somewhere. Let's go have a vacation or something. So we go, we go out of town, and when we pull up at the room, she jumps out to get the key and everything. And while she's gone, a young lady approaches me and asks me for a lighter. So I give her the light, we make a small talk. 2 seconds later, Krista come burn around the corner, skirt, pull up, jump out. She's snatching off her clothes, yelling, cussing, earrings, everything.
Oh, yeah, getting all the shoes, taking the earrings off.
She's taking everything off.
She didn't have any Vaseline, did she?
I'm telling her, she went up through there, right? So I'm telling her, I'm like, look, the lady, she just wanted a light. She just wanted a light, Christian. She don't care about that. She's still cussing, going ham. The police, the hotel security had to come walk us out. And I'm embarrassed because, she's sitting out there half naked, so I told her to put her clothes back on and get her butt in the car.
Get her put your clothes back.
I mean, that's what she does every day.
Did you go out there ready
day.
to fight a woman that he only gave a light to?
I did.
So you think it's worth it to go out there and egg the apartment building and take off half your clothes to whoop on somebody so he'll behave better?
Batter up.
Mr. Johnson, I understand there was some circumstance with some clothes. Could you tell me about that?
I was working at a restaurant, and I'm on my lunch period. I'm on my lunch break with a coworker at the job. So I'm hearing cussing, screaming, So I'm walking, laughing it off, looking until I realize I'm getting close to the items, and I realize that it's some items on the ground, and I notice that they look familiar. They're my items. So I hear Christian, and that's when I notice, as soon as she see me, she bags the car, run over the items, drive for it again, drives over it again, and ride past me going extra slow, shoot me the bird. I'm trying to go out there and get my clothes up. She got me fired from my job. My boss didn't want to understand any of that was going on. She thinks it's games and just fun, and it's costing me more than what you, more than what you putting up.
Did you lose his job for him by cutting up like that?
He found another one.
But you did lose his job for him.
When divorce court continues, what comes at the end of a 16-hour shift? For Christian, is that cooking dinner and cleaning up?
Do you believe that if Christian stopped making up stories, Joshua would stay with her? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call now.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court continues.
Mrs. Warren, I've been on you for a while, so I want to talk about your complaints. You say that he's unappreciative, that you work long 16-hour shifts and still have to come home and make dinner. Tell me about that.
Yes, that's right. I work 16 hours.
Doing, what do you do?
Security.
Okay.
Yes, so I patrol the properties.
Well, they got the right woman, because you ready to throw down.
That's right.
Take your earrings off, you get in there. Go ahead.
I'll come home, he's on the game, playing PlayStation. So I'll go in, okay, I'm gonna cook. Obviously I see nothing has been made. So I go, I cook, and after that, I'm just completely exhausted. So I fall asleep. And he's standing over me like, aren't you gonna do the dishes? I'm like, are you serious?
Mr. Johnson, does she come home from a 16-hour shift? You expect her to cook and do the dishes while you play?
No, I don't. Christian's 16-hour shift, she had that job for about 3 days, okay? She had the job about 3 days, so I don't know what she talking about. Y'all can take that how y'all want to.
How long did you have the job,
How long you had the job?
Ms. Warren, how long did you have
top.
Hang on.
I've been on the job for about 7 months.
Okay. All right. And
has she been doing that job for 7 months? I mean, 2 days and 7 months is a big difference. Why are you not telling the truth?
No more than 2 weeks, Your Honor.
No more than 2 weeks?
No more than 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Well, let me ask you this. You both tend to have jobs. You both stay employed. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's that, yeah.
Do you, as she contributes to the economics of the home, do you contribute to the care of the home?
Of course I do, because that's how we got it worked out.
Okay, so what do you do around the house?
I clean up. I handle all of that when she's not there because I understand what position she's in. She's at work, and when I'm at work, she does the same thing. Christian problem is that she has a problem sticking to a structure. You know, she's easily sidetracked, and she doesn't mind letting her emotions take over.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
I mean, if we come up with, okay, she's working those types of hours, and I'm off on the weekends, you know what I'm saying? Just a simple structure to make everything run more smooth and be convenient for both of us.
Oh, so she just kind of doesn't have it together.
She like the
So
renegade.
she can't get it together.
She like to do what she wants. She like to do what she wants.
Is that accurate, Ms. Warren? You kind of just don't have it together?
I pay the bills.
Well, he pays bills as well, does he not?
No.
That's a lie.
He does contribute to the household, does he not, Ms.
I
Warren?
clean up more than you. You know what I'm saying? I clean up way more than you.
You clean up?
Yes,
way
I
more
clean
than
up way
me.
more than you.
Okay, so why are you complaining at me for?
Well, Ms. Warren, let me ask you this. Hey, we could do this all day. Ms. Warren, I want to go on to, you say he doesn't treat you like you're his girl anymore, that he's not romantic. Tell me what you mean by that.
Okay. He's not romantic, and he just lost it all. And it leads to disrespect, okay? He's more disrespectful than anything.
In what ways is he disrespectful?
Okay, so say we have an argument, and he gets mad. He wants to play this certain song.
What kind of song does he play to try to lose a point?
Tell him. Okay, well, it says something about bust her lip, broke her leg.
Mr. Johnson, when you get mad at her, do you play a rap song that's talk about abusing women?
I don't know about her talking about me sending her messages through songs. I mean, maybe I should try that. Maybe I can get, you know, a little bit more from you. What I gotta do, start making sticky notes or something, stick them on your forehead or something?
You know what? Play that song again.
That's
Hey.
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next.
It's time for you to call 1-800-282-1991 to answer today's question. You'll receive some valuable offers. Call now.
Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
I read the paperwork that you guys give me, and sometimes I read it 3-4 times just to make sure I got it right. You said this, Ms. Warren. I have gone to hell and back with Josh, and I only did all of that because I love him. Josh thinks this relationship is a game, but the game changed once I got pregnant with his child. He's disrespecting me, cheating on me, and not being serious about divorcing his wife. That has me halfway out the door. He's married. You say that he doesn't cook or clean. You say that, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just going by her claims. You say he don't cook or clean. He doesn't pay any bills. He's married. He's disrespectful. He cheats on you. Why are you only halfway out the door?
Okay. Well, basically, I mean, I love him. He was a good person in the beginning, but once I caught him cheating and lying and I found out about the wife, that's when my whole attitude changed.
Are you done?
Am I done?
With her?
I mean, I just want to solve a problem. Whatever it takes, I just want to get to an ultimate solution for both of us to, you know what I'm saying, at least go out to the race, be happy, whatever it takes.
Let me see if I can help you. I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to turn my back to you for a minute. Now, Ms. Warren, you're the author of your own demise over here. That anger that you demonstrate, that's an act of a person who's fearful, and you're fearful because you're in a circumstance that you're not safe in, and you're in a circumstance that you're not safe in because you chose to stay with a man that you know that is married and then get pregnant with him. You're putting yourself out there and in such an insecure spot that it would make you angry to the very thought of him doing the wrong thing because you are so exposed, you are so fragile that anger is going to pop up. What you need to do is work on you. What you need to do is make sure that you're strong and capable and able. Right now, more education, whatever you need to do, become a strong and stable woman. Once that happens, the fear of him just ghosting or disappearing, it'll hurt you. Listen, I have been left by more men because I was never willing to compromise. Oh, you want to go to that movie? Oh, I don't. You're but But the reason I was able to do that is because I didn't need him for anything. Wanted him, but didn't need him. You're insecure and you're unsafe, and the very thought of him doing something wrong sends you into orbit. And that's no way to live. That fearful, stressful, always looking for the end of the relationship because it's going to kill you. The end of a relationship to me was just an opportunity to get another guy. I think you're going to go home with him, aren't you?
Well, I really don't know.
So I will say this. You made her pregnant. And you got to take care of your responsibilities. Are you going to do that?
Of course I am.
Yeah, okay. Well, she's not leaving, so why waste my breath? There will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
Joshua and Christian appreciate the judge's ruling, and Joshua vows to take care of his responsibilities as a parent. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court.